Hi, I'm Carol Andrews for another episode of Southwest TV News. Here are some of the stories we've been working on for today's show. Saskatchewan residents dealing with MS recently learned that planned clinical trials in Albany were cancelled, and any hopes of long-term relief from their MS symptoms halted. Work crews have been taking advantage of the positive weather trend and making gains on the two new schools under construction in Swift Current. Into the middle of September, and producers across Saskatchewan are busy out on the field with the annual harvest. And as everyone rushes to get the crop in the bin before the weather turns, safety is always at the forefront. Thanks for joining us here today. Following the cancellation of MS clinical trials in Albany, Saskatchewan patients are now hoping for an alternate plan by the province. Saskatchewan residents dealing with MS recently learned that planned clinical trials in Albany were cancelled, and any hopes of long-term relief from their MS symptoms halted. The Saskatchewan government has been informed that the Albany Medical Centre has decided to stop its clinical trial into the effectiveness of CCSVI and relieving the symptoms of multiple sclerosis.
So in order to be statistically valid in the eyes of the FDA, Dr. Siskin needed at least 200 people to be to have the procedure, which what we know about the screening process and the protocols he put in place, most likely he would have needed over 300 to actually partake in the trial, and then have a pool of about 200 that would actually go through with the clinical trial. So we looked initially. We did look to see whether or not Saskatchewan alone could provide those numbers, but based on the protocols and the criteria that the FDA had put in place when they approved Dr. Siskin's trial, we just didn't think that Saskatchewan alone could produce that many people.
Duncan adds that 7 Saskatchewan residents had already traveled to Albany with another group of 10 ready to go when the trials were cancelled. Now the following scenario will come into play.
People that were in the trial will be notified whether or not they actually had the procedure done on them or whether or not it was a placebo. And the ones that did have the procedure done, we will still, as a government, look after the follow-up that would have been a part of the trial for the 2-year period after they had the procedure, after they were involved in the trial.
Mike McIntosh, the Swift Current, has been interested in the concept of MS therapy on a personal level. He was diagnosed with the disease at age 22 and knows the symptoms all too well. 3 years ago, he found some relief through the CCSVI treatment he sought out in Poland. A controversial treatment, which the 62-year-old says has made a world of difference in his life.
I used to wear a splint and have a cane. I don't think I could have stood this long without waving around. And I think you knew me when I had that, But yes, it's changed everything, and it's changed everything. I've still got MS. I still get tired, and the heat bothers me, but not as bad as before. My goodness, I would have trouble walking into the office here.
Now with the Phase 3 clinical trials cancelled in the U.S., McIntosh says he understands the likely frustration felt by those Saskatchewan residents who were scheduled for the studies south of the border. And he hopes the provincial government will push forward on its commitment in some form.
Yes, study this, look at it, because it does make a difference. Like I say, to two-thirds of us, and maybe the other third doesn't get sicker. But most of all, what about the dementia of older people? It seems to work with Parkinson, dementia, and all those things. It maybe works into it. This should be studied and not set alongside to let industry look after it with chemicals and stuff. Maybe there's more to it than that.
We did make a commitment to be a part of MS research going forward, and so we have committed. For this particular trial, we had set aside $2.2 million, and we've spent less than $200,000 of that on the first year of our involvement in the trial. So we are going to be working with our stakeholder groups and patients and their families and the research community to see where we could go next.
As of production time of this story, Mike McIntosh is en route for a vacation in Poland and for a follow-up checkup on his liberation treatment. Approximately 3,500 Saskatchewan residents suffer from MS.
It will help, as the Premier said, with the short-term issues around the stimulus. but it's got a clear eye on the future, something for the long-term economic health of this region.
We've enjoyed your photos and story ideas all summer, and now we want to see what's happening this fall. Send us your back-to-school photos, your autumn scenery, and other unique images. And you could be a part of the new MySWTV feature at the end of the show. Email us today to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Another exciting season of Market Square returns to downtown Swift Current, featuring live entertainment, fresh garden produce, crafts, and other unique vendors. Market Square, every Saturday at the corner of Central and Chaplin. Presented by Standard Motors, in partnership with Innovation Credit Union and Southwest TV News. Progress continues on the construction of 2 new schools in Swift Current. We have more in this report. Work crews have been taking advantage of the positive weather trend and making gains on the 2 new schools under construction in Swift Current. This site, encompassing 18 acres of land, will be the home of a 120,000 square foot joint facility for the Ecole Centennial School and the All Saints Catholic School. A project which is now reported at 50% complete and falling in line with the projected opening for September of 2014.
On budget and on time, and that's the mantra we've been hammering away at, and it's still true. 12 more months of keeping that going, so knock on wood, we're able to maintain that pace and that track record.
Chufu further adds that progress is also being made within the facility's interior, which is not easily seen by the passing public.
I was fortunate enough to be able to see some aerial photos of the site itself, and they're amazing because number one, I've never seen a construction site that is that clean. And secondly, you can see the outlines now of where the future bus loop's going to be and where the playground is going to be and where some of the knolls are going to be. It's really exciting. I've also seen they have started putting up gyprock and boarding and taping a number of the different areas of the school. So it's not just the shell. We are starting to get quite a bit of progress on the inside as well.
Once open, the Ecole Centennial School will offer dual-track French immersion and English programming. And the All Saints Catholic School will bring together pre-kindergarten through 8 students all under one shared facility. Overall project costs are slated at approximately $19 million for each of the schools. W.W. Smith Insurance has reached a milestone as it celebrates its centennial. Having served Southwest Saskatchewan for the past 100 years, W.W. Smith Insurance is your motor license issuer, while specializing in all of your personal and commercial needs, including home, auto, agro, business, and life insurance. W.W. Smith Insurance, independently owned and operated since 1913.
Our company helps tell your story and provides you with a solution on how to market your business. Because making a great video is only half the equation. You have to know how to use it.
We have done a major.
We've enjoyed your photos and story ideas all summer, and now we want to see what's happening this fall. Send us your back-to-school photos, your autumn scenery, and other unique images. And you could be a part of the new MySWTV feature at the end of the show. Email us today to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. With another harvest season well underway across Saskatchewan, safety once again comes into the forefront. Into the middle of September, and producers across Saskatchewan are busy out on the field with the annual harvest. And as everyone rushes to get the crop in the bin before the weather turns, safety is always at the forefront. This includes ensuring all equipment is turned off before removing any material or other debris from a combine pickup or other area of the machinery. And always ensure that you have proper clearance of any power lines or other obstructions when transporting such items as grain augers. Producers are also reminded to take the occasional break from operating farm machinery or any other vehicle as fatigue can play a fatal role for yourself or others.
Fatigue is akin to a form of impairment. So having the proper rest is important. We've had instances where people have dozed off the wheel, and you end up losing. You may be awoken by the rumble strip on the side of the road and overcorrect, and next thing you know, you flipped your vehicle. So yes, rest is important.
According to Safe Saskatchewan, agriculture is the fourth most dangerous industry in Canada, and half of all machine-related injuries happen between the months of August and October. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at mylocaltv.ca. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.